Welcome to the final video on factoring review. We're going to look at some special factoring, and I only bring it to your attention because if you can recognize this, it's a very quick way to factor a, a function. So we need to ask ourselves, is it a special product? And the one that we're going to look at is it the difference between two squares? Reminding ourselves that a square is something times itself, such as x times x is going to give me x squared. 4 times 4 is a perfect square of 16. If we can notice that the two terms are perfect squares and they're separated by this minus sign, we can jump directly to the factorization. It's the square root of the first term plus the square root of the second term. Then it's the square root of the first term minus the square root of the second term. So if we can recognize this special condition in factoring, we can jump right to the chase and not have to do any of that finding factors that equal and total and so forth. So let's give it a try. Let's look at example 17. I have x squared minus 36. We still need to ask ourselves those questions. What is the greatest common factor? Or do I have one? Well, the GCF is 1, and so I don't have anything really. Is it a special product that a squared minus b squared? In this case, yes, it is the difference between two squares. Recognizing this, we can take the square root of the first term, which is x squared, so the square root is simply x. The square root of 36, what times itself is going to get me 36? That's 6, 1 plus, 1 minus. We're done. If we can recognize the greatest common, not the greatest common factor, that it's the difference between two squares. I know this example isn't on the worksheet, but what if we had 25a squared minus 49? Are they still the difference between two squares? They certainly are. The square root of 25a squared, I'm going to put my binomials out, that's 5a. And the square root of 49 is 7, 1 plus, 1 minus. I'd like to do one more, just down on the side. Let's do 4x to the 6, we're going to make it a little bit complicated, minus 25y to the fourth. What I'd like you to do is pause this video and see just how easy it is when you recognize that it is the difference between two squares. When you're ready to check your answer, restart the video and we'll see how you did. Okay, it is the difference between two squares. So we take the square root of my first term. Well, the square root of 4 is 2. The square root of x to the 6, well, that's x cubed times x cubed. Square root of 25 is 5. And the square root of y to the fourth is y squared. 1 positive, 1 minus. Saves me a ton of work in determining how to factor 4x to the 6 minus 25 y to the fourth. If you can recognize the difference between two squares, it's going to be very, very helpful. When you come to class next time, please make sure that you have completed the guided practice listed below. There are only a few factoring problems. Then also do the online self-check and bring those results with you as well, along with your completed note-taking guide. We'll see you in class, and we're going to practice factoring a lot. So if you're a little confused, don't be concerned. We're going to practice a lot. We use factoring throughout the entire year. So we'll see you next time. Until then, have a wonderful evening and enjoy finding the difference between two squares.